All right. Hold on. Let me adjust that light real quick. Sorry. Since it's my first time going live on Facebook, it basically had me redo all my permissions and stuff for everything. So, all right. Let me get this. My name is Mio Baclini. Hopefully, if the light's okay, audio's okay. I'm also going live on my Instagram account, so I'll be sure to share everything. Um, I have been watching you guys all day long. I'm gonna adjust that light one more time just because it's like way different than cell phone lighting. Okay, maybe this will help. All right. So, thank you so much. You guys have been phenomenal to watch, very inspiring. Everyone's been so encouraging. And then let me know if the audio is okay too. But my name is Mio Baclini. I'm the youngest Paint Pixie daughter and also her favorite. Um, so her favorite youngest daughter. I had to clarify that so my sister doesn't see that and feel any type of way, right? So, anyways, I am here in Las Vegas. It is pouring thunder, lightning. So, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear all of that that's going on in the background. I'm a multimedia creator. I have a podcast. I'm a photographer. I do videography, graphic design, a little bit of everything. And so, I actually started off before photography, everything was painting with my mom. So I will go over and we'll talk about that story a little bit as I'm kind of describing and showing you what we're going to do today. Um, Other than that, yeah, it is pouring. Like if you go to my Instagram page, I posted a reel yesterday where we were sitting. It took so I left the house at 2 o'clock and didn't get home till 4:44, and you know that's my number. So by the time we were sitting there, I look and there's these two crates in the floodwaters, like racing each other. So we were just like, film that, get that, get that. It was just crazy. It was complete utter chaos. Um, so definitely make sure to check out my links. I'm starting to kind of jump back into Facebook, but I am mostly Instagram, YouTube. My friend and I have a podcast called Souls and Stardust, and so we will do YouTube lives, but it's more so for readings and stuff like that. So this is new where I'll be creating with you guys. But it's really important for me to be able to express my gratitude for all of you for being so supportive of my mom, her vision and her dream, and just the rest of us, just as a family too. Like this Paint Pixie has been huge for us because it's been a way that we all have been able to connect with each other and work together as a family. I've always handled like the photography or little consultations here and there. Um, yeah, my mom said let's spread the love, so she'll come back. I will definitely come back. All right, here's what we got going on today. I do have an affiliate link now, so you can shop all the products that we're doing through that link. So make sure you do check that out because I'm going to use. So today, here's what we got going on. I wanted to do a dark floral inspired fall theme. I'm not super like orange and brownish type person. I kind of wanted like that dark gothic feel. So today we're making some candlesticks. Uh, so we're going to be doing I did a little decoupage plus painting stuff. And then I painted the candle as well. And then I'm going to show you some tips and tricks because these ones I don't know if you're going to be able to. I don't know if I'm going to actually light them, but I want to keep them around for decoration for a little bit. That way I can keep them through the fall throughout to Halloween. Um, so one thing before I get started though, I do want to say everything that I do, and I kind of told you a little bit all the stuff that I do with the podcast and all that. Normally, the type of stuff I create, like we make positive affirmation decks, oracle decks, and so one of the things that I also created was an online course that teaches you how to take your art and make it into cards if you want. So if you want to have your own deck, you want to have your own personal, like, hey, I have this vision that I can make, a color themed whatever you want to do, right? So I do have that one will be on the link there too because I know you guys are amazing artists that there's so many different ways that you can put your art out into the world with intention. So even when I create stuff like this, like, okay, let's just say, all right, so what? They're candlesticks. Oh, and the other thing, Mom, I promise not to curse. I promise I will be on my best behavior. No bad words. PG as possible. I love you. Because I do want to be able to come back. And I know if I accidentally curse like a trucker, she'll never have me back. So, all right. As an artist, um, so we started Paint Pixie, right? It started with rewinding way back. Her and I used to do murals together, kids' rooms. We painted, and it all started because I accidentally ran up a $600 phone bill that I had to work off, and because I didn't have the money to pay for it. So, of course, like, that's what you get for trying to talk to too many boys at the time, right? So she's like, well, I'm going to teach you how to paint, and then you're basically going to work, right? So it's okay. So she taught me how to faux finish. Basically, it got to the point where she could do the first half of the room, and I can do the top half down, and we would meet in the middle, and you couldn't tell the difference between where we where that seam line was. We began to the synergy between us two while we were working on projects together became very like it just worked and it flowed. And what I didn't realize what was happening at the time was she was actually calling out the creator in me. She was teaching me and showing me what I had inside because as a child, you do all these arts and crafts things and you do all these like fun things like that I do with my children. We create games, we create like all kinds of artistic things, right? Um so with all of that, it's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I'm supposed to be a creator. I'm supposed to be a maker. I'm not meant to be just a button pusher or sit at a desk all day long. Like the way that my brain works, it's okay to embrace the fact that I'm an artist. And sometimes being an artist, you feel a little ADHD because you're like this project and this project and this one and this one. So this is all my jam. Watching you guys all create, it's like I'm getting so many different ideas and inspired by so many things. And I'm still hating this light right now. So 1 second, because I don't like the computer light. So I'll troubleshoot that next time. So all right, creating with intention. So what I wanted to do was thinking of candlesticks, right? Thinking of when would I actually I'll have decoration ones, like decorative candles, which I'll show you what I already started to pre-paint earlier while you guys were on your lives, just so that I could just add details to. Um, I wanted to set the intention that when people come into my home, I want them to feel warm, safe, and comfortable. And I want people that operate at the highest level of just love and joy and people who are positive to come into my home. And so my intention is every time I light these candles and invite people in for dinner, I hope that we have the best conversations possible. I hope that everything that we do is with intention and that we connect heart to heart when these candles are lit, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I was going with it. The candles that we are going to be painting, I just did black tapered ones from Amazon. Hold up. I had everything organized and ready. So they come like this. So black tapered, and then the candlesticks themselves, they're 4 inches, which I had to go pick all this stuff up from my sister's house. And I get home and I open the box and I'm like, God, 4 inches was a lot bigger in my head. I thought these were going to be bigger. So we had a really good laugh about that, Mom. um, so I don't know where you got these, Amazon, something like that. And then I'll be using mostly turquoise iris her brushes. I love her brushes for using like watercolor, acrylics, anything like that. And then just because I had to, we are using Lil D for the base coating of the candlestick itself. And I also really liked that one. So, yeah. Definitely love creating with intention, because sometimes, okay, so sometimes I'll go into creating and making something without the idea of what the hell I'm doing. um and I'm just gonna start base coating this one while we're chatting. So yeah, I will go in and say I'm working with watercolors, because watercolors are more of a hobby for me, where it's very therapeutic because I'll just let everything kind of um run across the page. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So this is where the artist ADHD starts popping in, of where I'm like, and then. But you guys probably understand. So the colors I'm gonna be using on this one, I base coated it with the licorice first before I did anything. Um, so licorice, that was last month's color, and then this one, I don't know if you could see it. It's that green metallic one. I just got this. So I didn't have any of the newest ones. Enchanted Forest. So Enchanted Forest, beautiful, 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 dark, 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 dark green with gold specks in it. You thought 4 inches was bigger too. Yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry. Let's scroll it up and see it. Perfect. Making sure I didn't miss any of your guys' comments. So, oh shit. And you know what? That's the second time I did this today too. So that's the other thing that, I can't really yell at my kids for being messy or anything like that, because I do stuff like that all the time. So, and then I know for a fact, like I'll have it right here too. Yeah, like there's a paint stain right there already. So I'm gonna base coat and make a set of the Enchanted Green base coat, and then what I did was I have a dark floral pattern paper. Um, the pattern paper ended up being a little more like, I don't know, it's like shinier, more like magazine paper than like a traditional, like, I don't know what you want to call it. But so I had to cut out pieces of the florals that I wanted to use and soak them in water first to kind of like get them a little more pulpy. I don't know. That might be the word. So we'll make a pair of the Enchanted Green. And then the other one that I base coated, this one has the Onyx. And I did test also, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. So I did base coat of licorice because I realized that I like the black base coat underneath those metallics when doing stuff like this. So that's what we're doing. The other thing I want to introduce, as a wedding photographer, so I've been a wedding photographer for over 10 years, like 12, 13, maybe going on 14 by now. We always have random things in our kit, right? So one of the things I realized was, oh shoot, this is once you actually put the candlestick in. I don't like floppy things, okay? So no floppies. If you have either dental wax or these little like these little putty things, that's what I ended up using here. So we are good. All right. The other thing, what else? Oh, the other thing that I want to do, so I did start to paint. I forgot who was doing the skulls earlier, but I started to paint little skulls while she was on. Um, Please remind me who was. Yeah, no floppies. Quoted. um, so I thought the little skulls were cute on that. Uh, the other thing that I did make, because you talk about creating with intention, I dressed a candle for one of them, and meaning I took dried flowers that I had from a photo shoot. So I did a styled shoot back in May, and one of the florists, one of the vendors that participated in the styled shoot, had this beautiful red roses bouquet. So I took it home, kept it. It lasted for a week, and I knew I wanted to do something with these. I think the other thing I'm going to do is make my own watercolors with them. So I've been geeking out on YouTube videos about how to do that. So I took those flowers, and then I took them in my little molcajete, whatever you call it, mortar pestle, and broke it down because roses have the symbolism of love. right? And I also added orange lilies because lily represents like rebirth and transformation. And so it's like I wanted to dress the candle. So it's like, okay, if I do end up lighting this candle, it's going to be love and rebirth and transformation and stuff like that. But then to make it smell amazing, I also added, today I did a chai latte. Is like a chai latte essential oil, and so it smell okay. Wait, it did smell really good in here, and then I accidentally burnt some onion rings in my air fryer. So what went from smelling like chai lattes now smells like burnt onion rings. But and then that has like you can cover and do however many layers of the flowers that you want. That one just had the roses on it, but I'll dress the ones with the orange to see if the orange pops on that too. All right, so get your 4 inch. This is going to be the second one. Yeah, this Enchanted Forest I really, really love. Oh, and I also ordered a tripod that could go for aerial tabletop stuff for this for today. And they moved the delivery to 6 p.m. today or tomorrow. So I was supposed to have that, but so now you're stuck looking at me instead of my project. Um, so hopefully you're okay with that. Ooh, chai latte. Oh, yeah, yeah. The sugar skull. That's what it was. Super cute. I loved everything you guys did. So that was it was interesting and hearing your guys' like stories of your Halloweens and your falls. I actually so I love Halloween. I am one of those weirdos that I did watch horror movies as a child since like 3 years old, and I like could not get enough of them. I don't know why. Little weirdo. Um, but it all makes sense now because my podcast that I do, the Souls and Stardust podcast, is very based on like intuition and supernatural stuff, and it's stories of us and our clients. It's a friend of mine and I, we do the show. And so we share a lot about what we're going through together collectively in our own lives, and then finding out that there's all types of connections and patterns to things, right? And just seeing how things align. And it's just like how the heavens can just like, oh, here, connect all the stars, everything aligns, and now, boom, here you are, right? So we like to talk about all that kind of stuff. But horror wise, why that ties into like fall and all that is so one of the things that we talk about is mediumship and doing like those type of readings where you connect into people who have crossed over. So like the fall and Halloween is usually a big time where I get a lot of clients that want to do like fun type events like that for their groups and their friends and stuff. So, but yeah, I always loved the haunted houses. Even okay, so last year, if you go to the Paint Pixie page and look at, oh yeah, I'll bring up the retreat. If you look at last Halloween, I think my mom shared it on the Paint Pixie page. We turned the entire front of my house into giant eyeballs. And I used Paint Pixie paints on some of them and then just alcohol markers on the rest of them because with the weather changing and stuff, it was like making the balloons shrink, and then it was like then the paints were getting all kind of dried and flaky because then the you know um oh, I have not heard of that, but I'll look it up, that magazine. So what we did, we took giant, I'm talking like, so I work in the event industry, so weddings and events. So I'm like, all right, we're used to having all these things readily available. And so I'm like, all right, what can I get to make giant eyeballs? And so I got the huge, huge white balloons. I got a bunch of the really, really big ones, some medium ones, and then sorry, almost said the bad word. Then a literal poop ton of like the little smaller ones. And then we hung them with fishing wire or I'm sorry, floral wire. That way I could like get them to go organic directions. And then I hung them from the front of my house because I have like where you would put like the Christmas lights up. And so with that, it was like I built a huge balloon arch, but then it was giant eyeballs. And so people went crazy and they were taking pictures in front of my house. And then this one lady was like, "Oh my God, I love it. I'm an ophthalmologist." And she's like, "I'm sending it to all my friends." So now we're trying to figure out how we want to top this year. And I think what we've decided, sorry, I keep missing that one spot. What we've decided is to do either dead man's bones and do a bunch of like hanging bone stuff, or dolls, like creepy dolls. So, hey Jane. So you let me know. What sounds better, dead man's bones or creepy dolls? Because I still want the little kids to be comfortable enough to come and trick or treat, but it's also important to me that the older ones kind of have fun doing their trick or treating too. Um, oh yeah, and I also get like my projector out because, like I said, I'm multimedia, so I will pull out all my lights, my speakers. I will do like, setup, um, because it's fun. I don't want people just to go door to door asking for candy and it's the same crap that they can get at Costco, right? So I always try to even get different candy. I just try to be like, ooh, the creepy dolls. Okay. Yeah, that's what Zanaya's. Zanaya's for the creepy dolls too. Because in my brain I'm like, okay, but if I could either do giant dolls, I want to do some like paper mache stuff and all of that. All right, so we got enchanted green, and I really, you don't have to do perfect coating on these, just because you're gonna end up doing like, if you want to do the decoupage or just paint straight up. So what else was I gonna say? Okay, so you know how I got started painting, worked up that phone bill. I got accepted to art school, which I ended up. So I started with like drawing and charcoals and stuff like that. I'm gonna let this dry over here, which I do. Thanks to you guys, I randomly was tuning into your lives one day, and I was like, "What are they using? That is not a blow dryer. What the heck are they using?" So between watching you guys use these heat guns and also finding a random fascination with watching people use shrink wrap to shrink wrap things, I was like, I need a heat gun. This it makes perfect sense, right? Um, Actually, here, I'll let that one air dry for a second. And then we're going to go to this one. So this one I did on purpose, a really, really, really thick coat of the onyx and the licorice. And then I took the heat gun and I just blasted it so it would bubble up because I wanted like some textures and stuff like that. All right. Sorry, my foot's falling asleep. See, I'm 40 now. Stuff starts happening. Um, what else? What else? So yeah, got accepted to art school, went to the Academy of Art for photography, and that's part of my story too. Is like I was painting with my mom for a few years, and we were doing really good, and things were amazing. Like we had all kinds of bookings, and we were painting all kinds of model homes, and it was like the perfect gig. I didn't have to get up and put makeup on every day. I could literally get into my overalls that already had paint on them. I never had to worry about my nails being done, or like literally I'm going to paint inside of a 100-degree house that hasn't even been like open for construction, or like it's in the middle of construction, right? Oh, and then this was the inspiration colors. I don't know. Can you see that? So I wanted to keep the blacks. This one is like the candied papaya that I kind of used in some of the background stuff. And then it's like the purples and the blues. So aside from the enchanted, so the blue in that one is the watermelon rind. And then the purple is the figgy pudding. And then color of the month is the candy papaya, which is like that coral color, that deep coral, deep orange. It worked really, really well with the reds too. So if you want to, I color blend everything because since I started as a muralist, um, yeah, the shrink, love shrinking the shrink wrap. Yeah, everybody gets shrink wrap. Um, yeah, so I started as a muralist, so I don't ever look at my paints as that's the one and only color that it's going to be. So the thing being an artist is you are an alchemist. If you're a cook, you're an alchemist. If whatever type of creation you're making, because we literally are taking raw ingredients and we're making them into a final product and something. And so don't take that lightly, the power of creation and the power of an idea, because there's a lot of people in this world that can't think of something and make it and present it into the world. So there are some people who would stare at your blank canvas that you had earlier with that cute little fall gnome and not know where to even start with that, right? Or somebody else that was talking about imposter syndrome and all of that. Um, You can't like get into your own head that way. You have to be careful the lies that you tell yourself and the stories that you tell yourself and the words that you use while you're while we're all here figuring this all out. So I'm just gonna cut some of the little like flowers or like leaves. There we go. What are those called again? And then I'm gonna cut a few out because I used the other ones in the other thing and I forgot to cut more. So that's what we're doing. So yeah, being mindful of the power that you have to create something and to create something new. And even if you're like copying somebody else because of they've inspired you, it's still an original piece because it's your piece. It's your signature. It's your energetic imprint left on the thing that you made. And so it's like, again, creating with intention. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't try not to get like, I don't want to get all like lecture-y. Like my daughter's always like, you don't have to lecture me. And I'm like, I'm not a lecture. Like I'm long-winded. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you guys. So on my podcast, a lot of the stuff we talk about is, and our YouTube readings, it's very spiritually based, energy. We talk about healing, trauma, like healing through those things and using different modalities and, what helps different people because it's not a one size fits all, right? So art therapy is huge for me because I think I was telling you this earlier or starting to tell you before I got distracted was if I'm going to be doing like a watercolor project, I will sit with my canvas and, you know, not have a plan and I will let everything free flow on the page. So I'll get my colors, I'll let it drop, drip, I'll mix colors and I'll turn my page around and I'll just the let things flow. And it's a meditation for me. It's very meditative. It's very cathartic to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna see like what it becomes. And so you kind of end up practicing that art of being in flow when you don't have to have it all figured out, right? Sorry, let me scroll back up. Oh, local library, yay. Oh, did I press something? Sorry. I don't know if I pressed something. Sorry. Anyways, uh, so yeah, whether you guys are creating stuff to like go do a vendor fair, market, do it with the intention of whoever purchases this print, whoever ends up with this item in their home. May it bless them. May it bring joy to them. May when they see it, they laugh a little, they smile a little bit more. May it be a little breath of fresh air in whatever day that they're having. And then that's it, right? And just knowing that what you're putting out into the world, you know, it's like cooking. Like, I don't want to eat somebody's food that's a stressed out mess because now they're infusing the food with their issues. They're infusing the food with their energy. And that's how it ends up being like cat food at the potluck or cat hair in the food at the potluck. Weird stuff, right? Um, I don't think I like this one. No. Moving on. So I'm just going to cut a couple more out because I liked these colors over here. So what else? Okay, so then I went to art school. Was painting with my mom. Oh, we learned all kinds of stuff too. So when I was with my mom before, it was a vintage home. No, Artistic Illusions. Sorry, Vintage Home was our shop that we had that she had in Boulder City. Artistic Illusions was and it was a mouthful to say, artisticillusionsbyjosie.com. Dude, I learned some really cool stuff. Mom, what food? You stopped cooking. Grandpa Jerry's who cooks. GP, Mr. Pixie, he's the cook. Um, yeah, it's like there's a movie that was like that too. Artistic Illusions. Yeah, Artistic Illusions by just. So we had so much fun painting. What I found was we did all kinds of specialty finishes, Venetian plasters, and all kinds of stuff. Um, but what I loved were kids' rooms. Kids' rooms were my jam. Oh yeah, we had paintbrushes in our fridge. We had all of that. So kids' rooms were my jams, um, which turned into me like, okay, getting into this more like illustrative style with my art and having fun. And now my project, my so I work on, I have my work and my clients, my marketing clients, and my intuitive readings that I do. But then I make sure I schedule time for passion projects. And one of my passion projects is to illustrate a book with my son Ezra's jokes that he does. He wrote a cookbook, well, is writing a cookbook with stuff he doesn't eat. So that's a whole other thing in and of itself. Where I'm like, so you don't eat this stuff? How are you gonna test it? And he's just like, man, it's okay. So it's like waffles and teriyaki sauce. So I apologize to anybody who is going to buy the cookbook and actually attempt a recipe, but it will be filled with jokes. So that's his other thing. He's really known for his little dad jokes. So I'm gonna since I'm just cutting these out right now and I don't want to get up and go and wash these off like while you guys are sitting here waiting on me. So we're just gonna Mod Podge the hard paper. Just, we're rolling with it, right? Um yeah. So Ezra's my 8-year-old, he's my youngest. He is a drummer and also a video game maker, and he will tell you even at this age, so what do you want to do when you grow up? He says, I want to go work for Nintendo. I want to make video games. So okay. So then one day I'm like, what are you doing on your tablet? He says, I'm learning Japanese so that I can speak and communicate with my coworkers for when I move and go to Nintendo. And then I had a friend that I met recently that was like, oh my God, I used to work for Nintendo. And they have one here in the United States and they all speak English. So I relayed that message to Ezra and he was like, you mean I learned Japanese for nothing? Oh my God. Don't, it all washes off. Don't, okay, so I'm Mod Podging with a turquoise Irish brush. Look, these are my favorite brushes. I don't know what to tell you. No disrespect. They're my favorite brushes and everything washes off. I like the smoothness of it, Mom. What am I supposed to use? Like a beat up one? But I think my pieces deserve turquoise Irish, turquoise iris status brushes. You deserve the best, sweetheart. So, oh yeah, I don't know. Don't tell Dion. I don't want her to be like, what the heck? How dare she use my beautiful brushes? Yeah, this was definitely hard paper. But you get the idea. It's like the cooking shows. They have like a meal in the back that's already like half made up and then they have one that's already cooked. So, all right. And next time I'll have my other video light next time. So I have like, since I'm a professional photographer and videographer, I actually have like real gears and stuff set up. But today I was like, just worry about being here. Don't worry about all of this. Like, that is fine. Don't stress. Just relax. So you can keep doing that with as many little decoupages, which I like that word, decoupage. I'm gonna keep this one simple though, and then I'm gonna run that. And then of course my cord is like this much too short. Does anyone need anything shrink wrapped? Maybe I can do that. That'll be my Christmas side hustle. It's like, I'll just shrink wrap all your presents for you. Yeah, when we made our what was this other one? Our affirmation deck. It came, I think, when I made my mini decks, I got to shrink wrap all of them, and I was like super stoked on that. And then I think what I'm gonna do now is Actually, no. Hold on. Actually, no. I'm gonna go back to the green ones because those ones are dry. And let's get some flowers on them, or foliage. Foliage. And I'm really jealous because I was watching all of you guys, and you guys actually have real falls, and you're like, do you get to see the leaves changing? And I'm like, no, it's freaking Vegas. I'm still sweating. It's 100 degrees. Um, and it is still miserable here. We go from death to death. Like, I don't get a fall. There's no changing of the leaves. Very, very. Okay, so ah, yeah, he is really smart. Is there liquid in my mug? Which mug? What mug? All right, sorry. Just catching up on all the comments. Ooh, so there's a new heat tool. All right, so I have my little palette with my paints ready. If you ask my mom, I'm very disrespectful with my brushes and my paints, and I actually don't deserve new brushes because I beat mine up bad. But they're well used and loved, and yeah. So where's the other brush I was just gonna use though? This one. So let's do WV, West Virginia. I have that, and then I have cleaner. I have cleanish water and then cleaner water. All right. So let's see, color wise. I also have a little baby fan going because it's so hot and muggy here and gross. How am I doing on time? Okay, 20 minutes. So when I do paintings, I will do either illustration and like watercolor stuff, more whimsical and fun. Like I do a lot of, like, for Christmas, I might do a lot of like little watercolor prints for all the families. Oh, I also just booked my first gig doing live painting at a wedding. So here's where everything is really, you want to talk about serendipity, alignment, and things happening like how they should be, right? I one of my first wedding clients just referred me to be a live painter at a wedding here where I'll be doing faceless portraits for all of their guests during cocktail hour. And I was like, yay, I get to use my Paint Pixie stuff. This is hugely symbolic for me. Getting to tie in my two worlds of weddings and painting without the stress of shooting the wedding. Um, so next time I promise I'll have that other the other camera so that you can see what I'm doing here. But let's just talk. So what I was going to say is actually welcome to my kitchen table. So I have an entire loft upstairs full of art supplies with a beautiful window, with an easel. I have an office with beautiful light, plenty of desk space, but the kitchen table is where I end up with my kids, where we create, where friends come over, we create, we eat, we congregate. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, welcome to the kitchen table, because this is where we're going to chit chat about life. This is where we make our connections. This is where our memories are made. This is where we eat. This is like, you know, this is it. This is the conversation piece. So I'm doing some little candied papaya as the base. And then we'll see. And then the cool thing that I learned when I, painted, do a little, yeah, it's a lot different painting on a curve than it is a flat canvas. I will say that. Or even like a piece of furniture. At least you have a big piece of furniture, but painting on the tiny little, I even write big. Okay. So just try to like, I'm trying. So, thank you for your patience with me, you guys. Um, so yeah, I like illustrative stuff. Sometimes I'll paint acrylics. I'm actually just learning how to use the Paint Pixie products for painting um, canvases and stuff like that because it's they're a thicker and more solid consistency, and so I feel like it just reminds me like I'm still having a learning curve with it. But furniture wise, or even base coating these things, like one coat, it was almost all the way. It was like almost completely covered. So, all right, let me get moving. It's like doing this is like playing an instrument and singing at the same time, is what it feels like. Because you're like, all right, I got to do this, but don't forget to talk. All right, got it. Don't forget to talk, but don't forget to do this. Okay, got it. My brain is just like, and then my brain's like, don't forget to check the comments. So, welcome to the ish show. But oh, the other thing I was going to say, so back to podcast wise, we talk about the astrology of the current, like where everything's at right now. And the fact that almost every single one of us had technology or connection issues is like we have like 6 or 7 planets in retrograde right now, which means it's like the planet of communication and electronics. Mercury is in retrograde. It is like the appearance of things going backwards or in reverse. And so it's almost like a miscommunication or misalignment things. It's like how I went to go live and, oh, all of a sudden it made me jump through 10 hoops before I could even do it. And then the whole thing wanted to shut down. Or how someone else was going live and it's like it keeps glitching, keeps glitching. It's also the time and the period where you want to make sure you're like rereading all your contracts, rereading all your emails correctly and not just like or your text messages out to people because it's a time where you could say something but somebody else misinterprets it the wrong way and you're like that's not what I said at all or that's not what I meant at all or that's kind of what the energy of what's going on. And then when it comes to technology, it's like, well, you know, have fun. Uh I totally missed some 2 things that I'm normally very, very on top of everything when it comes to scheduling, organization. Uh, I don't know if I love it. I don't know. I don't know if I love these ones. I might actually do some onyx over them just to darken them just a little bit more because I want more dark and creepy and like gothic. Which, oh, while I was in the middle of watching your guys' lives, I'm gonna try adding that onyx on top of it just to like tone it down a little bit. So I was watching your guys' lives and then I had a consultation with another photographer. I'm going to be photographing a wedding with her later this month. And so we were just checking in because, going over the timeline and, all right, what's going on? What am I covering? What do we need? Yada, yada. And she's like, oh, FYI, like this is a goth wedding. So she's wearing the bride's wearing all black. He's wearing black. Everything's going to be dark gothic. And I'm like the colors of what I'm using today. She's like, yeah. And then here's her colors with little pops of white and purple. And I'm like, dude, these are all the colors I'm painting with today. So, yeah. So it is still wedding season for me. I still have some weddings left. And that's like my bread and butter, right? Um, I love love. I love romantic comedies. I love stories of people in love. I love when I go to weddings and you can just see that they're actually in love and not just doing it because it's the thing to do. When you can see that 2 people are like truly meant for each other, it's very beautiful. Occasionally, I have the weddings where I'm like, all the vendors are in the back and we're like, taking bets on how many years we think it's going to go, right? So, yeah. But it's a lot of work, shooting a wedding and being with somebody for like 10 to 12 hours a day. So that's why, like, when I do my consultations with people, I'm like, look, it's very important that you love who I am, you love my personality, that you get along, that you think I'm funny, because we're going to be hanging out all day together. And I, I let them know I'm very capable. So not only am I creative and you're going to get beautiful photos, but I'm like, look, I will be that moving force of when you've had too much, the bride, say you're overstimulated and you don't want to do with nobody for the moment, like I am the bodyguard. I am the she just needs a minute. We'll be right there person. Um so that's me, that's my energy. I'm a Taurus. I'm the bull. Very so what some people might call stubborn, I would also call stubborn, but I also call driven. And you can ask my mother how true this is or not. She'll be honest. My mom's an Aquarius. She don't care. She'll she'll just tell you how it is. Um, but yeah, very driven, very motivated. Um, yeah, I like that. Darkened it up a little with that onyx. So that's what we're doing here. Like I said, talking at the same time. I'm like, my brain is gonna fry. Help. There we go. And so we probably had like 10 conversations. And when Karen, when's your birthday? I'm May 17th. So I actually do astrology chart readings for people where like I research their entire birth chart, where all the planets were the moment they were born, and then I interpret and tell them what everything means. And then I tell them about their soul's journey while they're here. And it's really fascinating. Yep, I do intuitive work too. So the story with the intuitive work, and mom, cut me off if any of this is like not Paint Pixie related. And if it's like, do you just want me to talk about the painting? I have no problem. But I feel like the intuitive work all ties in, because in order to hit the intuitive space of getting information and finding the symbolism in things and feeling connected to God, source, universe, whatever it is that you recognize as your thing, right? It's like being an artist does that for me. Getting into a meditative state while painting puts me in that state where I can shut my monkey brain down, shut the human side of me down, and let the spiritual side of me go, okay, so let's let the anxiety die down of things. Let's just paint. Let's just do this. And then all of a sudden, the thoughts that start to come in are like clarifying or epiphanies or memories that pop in that you need to address or deal with, or sometimes. And then for me, doing like mediumship work, utilizing that intuitive muscle on purpose so that I could tap in and tune in to somebody who has passed away, because we're all energy and energy doesn't die. The soul doesn't die, just the body does, is what I've learned through this whole experience. So it's really freaking cool. I learned that I could look at a photo of somebody, and as long as I can kind of see their eyes, I could tap in and tune into their energy, dead or alive, earth side or spirit side, and get information on them, like reading the back of a book, like reading an energetic summary of that person. And then what I learned was, as long as I didn't second guess myself, yeah, that's a lot better. As long as I didn't second guess myself, and I had like a person there, oh, there went my heat gun on the floor. The information that was coming through was eerily accurate and spot on, to the point where I knew it wasn't coming from me or my imagination. It was coming from somewhere else. It's the best way to put it. And so the best thing I can do to tell you, as I'm going to let that dry, as an artist, and we're going to do some metallics on this one. Practice your imagination. Practice using your imagination. Practice envisioning things. Like if you were to close your eyes right now and I told you envision a purple tomato, that's the part of your intuition. When you can see the purple tomato in your head, that's your intuition of how it looks when I'm getting information. It's so subtle, and you brush it off very easily. Let's see, what color am I going to do? Let's do some purple. We're going to do purple. Figgy. Sorry, there's a proper name. So, yeah, that's the intuitive space. So, oh, where's my little. So, get my little ball of whatever this stuff's called, just so that I can kind of put my candle down and maybe it won't go anywhere for a second. So, intuition development wise, that's where I learned like, oh, if I look at a photo, I can actually connect in on a person, place, or thing. Oh yeah, check it out. We have over 5 seasons of our podcast. We have a retreat coming up just outside of Phoenix, Arizona in November, where we will be doing like a lot of healing work, energy healing. We'll be doing readings, and we want people to practice using their intuition so that people can learn to trust themselves more and they don't rely on other people to tell them about themselves. So instead of people looking for an external source of, hey, what's going on with me? What's going on? Like, just to navigate through this humanness, this human life that we have, and being able to trust that voice in your head and that feeling in your gut, because sometimes we know it's true, yet the people around us are the ones that are like, nope, 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 and you're like, but I feel this in my soul to be true, right? So it's just very interesting. Um, that's what we encourage people to do. It's very healing. I've done mediumship readings for people where the information has been so spot on, and people usually end up in tears, and they're like, that has been more than 6 months of therapy for me just in that 30-minute session. Because once you have an experience, a supernatural experience, some people have it at church, some people have it outside of church, some people have it on their own while they're taking mushrooms in the woods. Whatever and wherever that experience is for you, it's real. It's how you connected and you needed to hear it, right? And it's part of your soul journey and your growth, who you are as an artist and a creator, because it allows you to tap into things outside of yourself, right? And hopefully this is making sense. I tend to ramble. All right, so we did some purple. I'm gonna let that dry. Cool. I think, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, where are we at here? Okay, back to the one that's finally dry with the Mod Podge. Let's get some leaves on this thing. And let me know if you get tired of hearing us talk about that stuff too. So, hi, Summer from Niagara Falls. Well, welcome. Oh, shoot, I scrolled. Ah, too many things. Did the links post in the caption? That was one part I didn't know if I was doing correctly or not. Let's do some gold flowers. So, yeah, what else? What else? What else? So, retreat in November. Oh, and then if you're in Vegas or the San Francisco Bay Area or know somebody, I do photography mini sessions every fall. So I just posted my dates on those. So if anyone needs like family photos or branding photos, the other thing that I do is you could book a free consultation with me. I basically help other creatives if they need help figuring out their sales and marketing plan, or if they need actual physical help creating or launching an idea, like people who want to launch their own podcast, or they want to set up their own YouTube but they don't know where to start, or like how was it Christine? Somebody was saying like, I wish I had somebody to come and just set up the lights and get it all like have. So I basically walk people through whatever creative process that they're stuck at. There's like I have other people that I help with, they're launching master classes and online courses, and so I'm there to just kind of be that support system of like, all right, cool, you want to launch a class, a workshop, or host these events, here's what you can do, here's how you can sign up, here's how we can set up for marketing this thing, yada yada. And then so now I'm just starting to do that for Paint Pixie because Jane, that she was with us, and so I'm kind of taking over all the magic she was doing. So this has been a very busy last couple weeks. Reacclimating to, my schedule. I don't know if I'm actually going to like these once I'm done talking because usually I paint silent. No, I didn't make my t-shirt. But it is cute though, huh? I feel like that's something you could see on Pinterest of like how to do. I never got into clothes. And then we'll do a little gold at the bottom. See, this would be cool to do with like the gold, what's it called? Gold leaf or what is it? Like, what is that called? Gold leafing? I feel like I just made that up, but there's a real word for it. And take the little papers. That would be cool to do with like the decoupage, doing some like 3D level florals, and then like, I just like layers and layers of things. So you guys all inspired me too. I have some furniture that I need to paint. And then I have 2 walls I've been wanting to do murals on too. Rub and buff. Okay, my glasses were a little foggy and I thought that said rub and butt. Got it. So definitely add some layers, darken it, get in those cracks. Get in the cracks and crevices. So this is fun. Oh shoot, it's already 3 o'clock. Oh, but I also did spend the first few minutes, I forget, not actually being online because it was like, hey, you need to give permissions for this, and hey, don't forget. But if you all are okay for a couple more minutes while I just finish this up real quick, and then so if you're on Instagram, if you go to my @Mio Baclini page, I have 2 pages. I have one for my photography, and then I have like my overall diary of a creator where sometimes we laugh and post this most outrageous AI generated headshots that they've come up with because they usually give me really wonky hands and stuff like that. There's one. All right, so this one is dry enough where I can get the other side. So I can't use the heat gun on the candles. So yeah, if you go to my other Instagram, in my stories are a lot of memes, behind the scenes stuff of my kids. I like to showcase because they're both artists, but in their own ways. And like I said, he's a video game creator, but Zanaya is an amazing musician. She is a violinist. She last year for her freshman year, she was concertmaster, first chair, featured performer. I have some of her stuff that I'm building up and I'm working on our YouTube channel just so that she has her portfolio online as well. So I'm that mom. Like when it's shows and performances, I got all my gear out. I don't care. The long zoom lens, get out of my way. My baby's on stage. Yeah. So she does violin, electric guitar, classical guitar, bass, and then Ezra's learning drums. So get a little purple. So I'll add some details to that afterwards. But you'll get the idea. See, that's why we say no floppies. But I just wanted to show you. Just want to show you. Now let's get our... That's the little skull one I made earlier. Oh, and if you do go to that @Mio Baclini Instagram, if you go to the reels or if you click the guides tab, you'll see Paint Pixie, and then you'll see all the different like watercolor and illustration. And I was doing during COVID, I was doing a little project called 9 Tiny Squares, where when I would get stuck for inspiration, I would draw 9 squares and then I would pick a theme. So like one could be food, one was sandwiches, one was like, all all these things, and then I would just like either use markers, paints, whatever I felt inspired at the time, and do 9 tiny squares of one thing. And so that was always fun to get things kick-started and going. One of the things that I did for a friend was the Dia de los Muertes themed painting for her. Um, so that's that. All right, so get your little sticky, throw that at the bottom. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you, if you don't want to dress the candle, like I said earlier, like with the roses on them or like flowers. Here, I'll show you. If you don't want to put the oil directly on the candle itself, so that's like you can either do the Mod Podge and then put some crushed up herbs and flowers and then roll it around or sprinkle it and pack it in there. You can either do a final coat, whatever it is. I also tested it where I just dumped the essential oil at the bottom because it's wood. So I just put the essential oil straight in there and stuck the candle in. You could still smell it. So that might be good where if you want to just leave them out for decoration, not actually burn them. So that is that. I probably, jumped around and didn't complete a whole solid thought, but that's okay. You guys got to meet me and know who's behind all of the posts and emails lately. So thank you so much for subscribing and coming by. I'm going to shove this little sticky stuff in here and hopefully I don't break the candle. See, photographer tricks. And then if you guys need help with any of your creative projects, marketing, website setup, social media, you guys got the Facebook Lives thing like down, so I'm learning from y'all on that one. But anything else, like I'm totally here. I'm an open book. I'm very transparent. Oh, the last thing I will share, if you go to my Mio Baclini Instagram, my mom gifted me a turquoise iris journal. I don't know if it was for my birthday, what it was, but I sat on it for months and I was like, what am I going to make? What am I going to make? So I have been posting on my stories a flower a day project. And so that is what's helping keep me in my brain creative. So if you want to join me on that. So I think someone else was asking earlier what style I do. So I do watercolors with like graphic pen outlines. Some of these are like really just end of the night. I was tired. And then I have a song playlist that I put along with it because I would listen to a song while I was painting. And so on Instagram, you can click the links and there's a Spotify playlist that I'll be adding. I already have like the first 5 songs, but yeah, so you can listen while and see, like, find your inspiration, whatever your flower a day is going to be. So y'all, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your support, and I hope you like my dark candlesticks. Yay! And there's no one after me, so I hope you guys get to catch all the rewatches for everybody. Yeah, love you guys. Have a fabulous rest of your weekend and be safe. Now I gotta figure out how to end this.